Hi, Becky. I'm Greg Monaco.
Hi, Greg.
I'm in charge of your orientation and training. How you doing so far?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm a little nervous. I don't really know what to expect.
Relax, and let's start right there with your expectations. What you expect has a big influence on what happens here. I call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what that is?
Well, I know a prophecy is a prediction about future events.
And self-fulfilling means your expectations right now affect future events.
There was a teacher who had a group of low-achieving students, but she was told they were high achievers, and at the end of the year, these supposedly low-achieving students performed just like high achievers.
So that teacher's expectations of high achievement and success influenced the performance of the students.
Right. She believed they could learn, and her positive expectation had an influence on her teaching. As a result, the students did learn.
Well, what you're saying is that my expectations about this job will affect results here.
Exactly. You see, we're part of a service system that includes large institutions, smaller facilities, group homes, workshops, and schools. Our goal is to help people who are mentally retarded lead more independent lives. When you combine expectations of success with hard work, Becky, you help the people you teach become more independent.
I can see that.
We're going to discuss the history of mental retardation, current teaching practices, and what this means for you. At the center of it all is the self-fulfilling prophecy. Your expectations influence your success or failure. In the past, mentally retarded people have been victimized by false beliefs.
Like what?
False beliefs like mentally retarded people can't learn, shouldn't have children, are crazy, need to be locked up, that they're all violent and don't appreciate nice things. They were labeled idiots, feeble-minded, mental defectives, and subnormal. Mentally retarded people were warehoused in institutions, denied an education, and most of the fundamental rights that you and I take for granted. Care was custodial, and as many as 5,000 people lived in one facility. Living conditions were dirty, noisy, and unsafe. These people were neglected and then punished for understandably acting out. Mentally retarded people were denied medical treatment.
Why?
Well, the reasoning was, why waste it on them? They don't feel pain. They're not really human.
Why didn't the family members do something about it?
Parents were counseled by the family doctor to send their retarded child to an institution and then forget about that child because there was nothing anyone could do. And at the institution, no one did anything. You see how the belief that retarded people can't learn turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Sure. The families were told nothing could help the child, so they didn't try to help. But didn't some parents resist?
Yes. But you have to realize that there's tremendous stigma and guilt attached to having a retarded child. Many parents blame themselves and wonder, what's wrong with me that my child is retarded?
What about the public schools? Didn't they help out?
Public schools refused to teach most mentally retarded children. Mentally retarded children were removed from the community, segregated into large institutions, and forgotten about.
That sounds awful.
Rights were restricted in other ways. States had sterilization laws, and thousands of mentally retarded people were sterilized.
Isn't that unconstitutional?
It is. But those laws were based on other false beliefs, like mental retardation is inherited, and that mentally retarded people don't make good parents.
Why is that false?
Because now we know that most mentally retarded children have non-retarded parents, and that there's absolutely no relationship between intelligence and being a good parent. There are many excellent parents who happen to be mentally retarded.
I'm Melody Harris.
And I'm Robert Lee Harris, Jr. And this is Rachel Nicole Harris.
I see Rachel going to college, have a good paying job, and have a family and a home and kids.
I see Rachel going to college and see her get married to a nice guy.
I would like to have another one if I can. The first time was a little hard, but they said second time it ain't so bad.
Mentally retarded people are entitled to the same rights as you and me, Becky.
Well, what exactly is mental retardation?
It's a developmental disability. Due to some problem, the person with a developmental disability doesn't learn as quickly as a non-disabled person.
What sort of problem?
There are many causes of retardation: infection prior to birth, poor prenatal care, chromosome abnormalities. In many cases, the cause can't be determined.
Why are these different problems put together under the name developmental disability?
Because developmentally disabled people share common characteristics,
Like what?
like scoring in the retarded range on intelligence tests, needing to learn basic aspects of living like eating, toileting, and dressing, needing help in learning language, needing help with school, needing to learn work skills and to spend leisure time effectively.
So these individuals can learn new skills.
Yes, and many also need to unlearn inappropriate behaviors, like throwing tantrums when frustrated and spending hours in meaningless activity. Today, there's greater respect for the rights of developmentally disabled people, and there's greater opportunity to live and work in the community.
The doctor said to put me away in an institution in Omaha. And they told Mom and Dad just forget about me and go home and just take care of the kids, the other brothers and sisters, and just forget about me. Just leave me there and put me in they would arrange to put me in an institution, you know. And Mom and Dad decided not to, and so they put me in a special school in California. And they taught me how to talk. I couldn't talk. They taught me how to walk, and I wore body braces and used canes and stuff, and I was there for 13 years. I live in an apartment now. I pay my rent. I like to tell the doctors I would like to walk in and show them that I'm able to walk and talk and show them what I can do.
What's happened to make life more livable for developmentally disabled people?
People sued and won in court. Everyone has the right to grow and learn, regardless of age, level of intelligence, disability, or race. We're doing our part here to reverse the abuses of the past.
By helping to prepare the developmentally disabled person for success.
Right. We know now that people fail because they aren't prepared for success, not because they can't succeed.
So what you're saying is that I have to believe in the client's ability to succeed.
Right. You need a can-do attitude.
So how do we go about meeting each client's needs?
We look at each client as an individual and design a program of treatment to teach the person to be as independent as possible. The process of providing this teaching is called active treatment.
Active treatment?
Active treatment means we take every opportunity to teach a person what's needed to reach greater levels of independence. We concentrate on the day-to-day aspects of living, like where people live, how we treat one another, what people do. Let's take a tour and I'll show you what I mean.
Okay.
This is a bedroom. Notice how nicely it's decorated?
It feels really comfortable.
Here you teach skills like dressing and undressing, making a bed, room care, clothing selection. Here's a bathroom. Here we teach toothbrushing, toileting, showering, and grooming. Take a look at the sink. It's modified.
It's up higher, so a wheelchair will fit underneath.
That's because many clients are also physically disabled and need special modifications for living. Some people can't operate a regular faucet, so these wider handles let a person operate the faucet with a fist, wrist, or elbow. The toilet is modified with handrails to help a person transfer from a wheelchair to the toilet seat.
Are there other modifications?
Yes, everything from eating utensils to work equipment is modified. Come on, I'll show you.
Okay.
Marjorie's using a specially curved spoon and a plate that's high on one side and low on the other. Without these special modifications, Marjorie couldn't feed herself. Becky, this is Rod.
Hi, Rod.
Rod said hello using this electronic communication board. Without it, Rod would have a tough time making his wants and needs known, wouldn't you, Rod? Rod's wheelchair is modified to keep his head, spinal column, hips, and legs in proper alignment. Thanks a lot, Rod.
Bye, Rod.
This is a living room.
The furnishings, the plants, it feels like home.
We treat the clients with respect and dignity. We can do that best in a home-like atmosphere. There are more and more opportunities available every day for people who were thought to be totally dependent all their lives. These people live semi-independently in group homes and apartments, and independently in homes of their own.
How do I fit into this?
I'll answer that question when we get back to the office.
Okay.
To help each client learn, we've assembled a team of experts. The experts make up the treatment team, and Becky, you're part of that team. Direct contact staff members teach the clients. They observe the clients on a continuous basis. Management team members supervise, design teaching programs, and write reports. Professional consultants like psychologists and occupational and physical therapists are specialists who provide direct services to clients, help develop programs, and teach other members of the team. Team members problem solve together with the client to identify needs and plan ways to meet those needs. Decisions are made with the input of all members of the team. We use a transdisciplinary approach.
What exactly does transdisciplinary mean?
That we aren't bound by traditional professional roles and rules. All staff should be alert to the client's communication needs, not just the speech therapist. All staff should be able to carry out a behavior management program, not just the psychologist.
But not everyone has the specialized knowledge of a speech therapist or psychologist.
That's right, but most of the specialized work is actually done by the direct contact staff.
So it looks like I'll be learning a lot about these different areas.
Yes, and as a team member, you're expected to share your observations of the clients and make recommendations. You'll also learn to conduct teaching programs and treatment interventions.
It seems as though there's going to be a lot to learn.
There is, and that's a benefit of this transdisciplinary process. By learning from others, you increase your skills and abilities. You know, this job, as potentially rewarding as it is, can be very stressful.
Stressful? How?
You may find one supervisor tells you to do one thing, another tells you to do another thing.
And I'm caught in the middle.
You may be frustrated by needless paperwork. Client behavior problems result in stress, and you feel frustrated by not making the progress you expected to make.
What can I do?
Try to act on the source of frustration instead of keeping it bottled up inside of you.
How can I do that?
By working with other team members to reduce the impact of stress and, as a team, become more effective.
I've had several jobs, but they weren't very fulfilling.
Well, the way I look at it, a paycheck helps you meet your survival needs. It pays for food, rent, utilities.
The things I need to make sure I'm alive.
Right. But you have other needs as well. You want to know you're an accomplished person and that there's meaning and purpose in your life.
That's what I want from my work.
You can get those things here as a member of this team. We're working together for the success of all of us.
I hadn't looked at it like that.
Well, I got into this work purely by accident, but now I love it. I love to learn, and I love to share what I've learned with others, and here I have the chance to do both. You'll learn to handle yourself in crisis situations, to become a better problem solver by learning to break problems down into solvable units. You'll learn about first aid, about reinforcement, and other things that'll make you more valuable to yourself and to others. And you'll learn to respond in a more healthful way to your own frustrations.
You mean rather than letting them build up?
Yes. You also have the opportunity to be part of some solutions, big solutions for major obstacles in people's lives, like how to communicate, how to behave appropriately in order to get more out of life.
When you put it like that, this is pretty important stuff.
I hope you have a positive growth experience.
Oh, so do I.
That's it for the orientation. Do you have any questions?
Not right now, Greg.